Welcome to Xbox Uncut. My name is Jason, and you're on episode 189. Almost at that 190. But we have a special guest today, Mr. Crazy Juan.
Evening.
And as always, Will. What's up, Will?
Hey. Well, you could tell by Juan's voice, he's very crazy. He's not. he's excited.
Yeah, I'm that understated, quiet crazy.
The scary crazy.
Yeah.
The ones you hear about on the news. He was this quiet guy, kind of him.
I have to ask you, Juan, are you a postal worker at Discover?
No. I take calls for a cable company.
Okay.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah,
I can imagine.
I love my job. I'm just gonna put it out there. I love my job.
Yeah, you don't want it. You don't want to get in trouble.
Right.
You heard it here. Juan hates his job.
It's the best.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but today we got a small crew. Steph might actually come in a bit later. We don't know just yet. He said he would be here, and he gave me his little hand emoji that he always gives me. So if he gets here, he gets here. If he doesn't, he doesn't. So we'll see. But let's start off. We actually have a letter from Mighty Mo's. It's been a little while.
Sweet.
I know. I looked at I look at the analytics too. I know there's a lot of you listening. Write us a letter.
Yeah, we get a ton of like retweets and like, all that's Twitter activity, which is interesting. Like, and yet the letters are like as low as we've seen. But I don't know. That's fine. I mean, if you want to send them,
man,
cool.
yeah.
Nobody's twisting your arm. But if you send
I
them,
am kind of. Yeah. From Mighty Mo's, hello. I'm back with some semi-fantastic questions for the crew. He didn't call us the Uncut crew. I'm kind of disappointed. First off, great get on the Kingdom Come Deliverance interview. Thank you. Well, I'm not going to say it's a get. Rick is a good friend.
Rick is good people.
Honestly, he's been on our Twitter chat since the first interview we did. He's an awesome dude. I couldn't see how fantastic the game was at first because I was forced to watch the stream on a shitty old Roku box I had. Due to my wife's persistence, we sit together. Nevertheless, C is not a gamer. So C got agitated and left, and the clouds parted, and the sun came back out again. That sounds... I'm not going to say it. Great looking game and great interview, guys. Enjoyed a whole lot. Yeah, appreciate it, man. Yeah, it was actually Rick's idea, like, right before the show to do that little presentation, and he did a great job. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, he did an awesome job, man. And kudos to you and Dustin and Tim. Steph was there? I don't remember. I was very
tell
quiet.
Steph about that.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it was good. You guys did a good job fielding the questions and just expanding on the whole.
And Steph was on a camping trip.
Okay. But yeah, it was a good interview. Sorry if I was too quiet. I was just it seemed like I don't want to interrupt your flow, so I was just like, I just let these guys, handle it because they're pros, so.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like an ass sometimes because I feel like I talk over everyone, and I kind of do. So you kind of have to sometimes nudge me.
That's all good, bro. It's all right.
But
that happens.
Yeah.
It sounds like you guys have a great relationship, and I'm glad you guys pick on each other. So that's awesome. Since he forced you to sit there and you had to watch it together. So great to hear
cool.
that. Question 1. He has 2 questions, by the way. It's apparent that all the puke pundits,
that's a new one,
who are in support of Sony are in full force in order to combat the Xbox One X. What does the panel recommend that Microsoft do to continue to ride the amount of negative press they will continue to surely get over the next 15 months? I guess he means what do they do to deal with it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess I'll just start off by saying they need to continue doing what they did before since the very beginning. Where, like I said on the podcast at the very beginning, where everyone said the last E3 they would never announce a Scorpio, and I said they would because they were going to control the messaging. It's exactly what they did, and ever since then they've been controlling the messaging. And even since E3, they've been doing a good job controlling the messaging. And that's really what they have to keep controlling it. If they let it go wild, that's what really screwed Microsoft in the beginning of this generation. Other than, you can argue about the decisions they were making and all that, but the messaging was really what killed them. So, I think Phil Spencer knows he knows that, and that's why he did exactly that. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think he's right on top of what it is. I think he's on the right path. He says the right things, and I think largely, the news, of course, the big news and the most talked about thing probably of E3 was the X. But I have the theory that the X is actually not even really so much for the players.
Well, it's more, you mean for like the average?
No, I mean the X is for developers.
Oh, yeah.
It's reaching back out to bring developers back in the fold, because Microsoft lost a bunch of developers over the One and making games on it and dealing with the ESRAM and the lack of power by comparison and such.
And not just the hardware, the difficult hardware, the terrible SDK they had too.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And so that's something where, with the X, they've made a big outreach to developers, and everything I'm hearing from the development community, every article, I haven't heard one developer say anything other than glowing things about it.
Yeah, they were smart they got it out there, and they got a good SDK, not a terrible one. Which It freaks me out that the original Xbox One launched with a bad SDK, but it just goes along with the theory that these consoles were launched before they were ready.
Yeah, I've always thought that the original One was ready. I mean, you could see it in the confused messaging. It wasn't ready. They weren't ready for that. Even down to certain games, like I'm a big Forza guy, as a lot of people know, and Forza 5, of course, I had that. And in a lot of ways, it was really good and a step forward for the series. But in other ways, it was kind of a step back from 4. And there were menu options within that game that weren't complete. They weren't available and never became available. So I just took that as evidence that the game was rushed out as a launch title for the rushed console.
Oh, they probably had planned way more content for that game to actually launch with. I mean, it's still, like, I still argue for that game because it was still the largest launch racing game ever, by far. Like, you look at other games in that comparison, I can't remember them off the top of my head, but you can actually go look up other racing games that have launched with consoles, and they're absolutely tiny.
Yep.
Like, very little content. And Forza 5 was actually pretty big for what it was.
No, it was ambitious to get it out in the time that they gave it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Sony surprised Microsoft a little bit with when they were going to bring the PS4 to market, and Microsoft just decided that they couldn't let them have all of the share and would take what they could get with what they had at the time.
Oh, Microsoft was in a panic because they knew they had the weaker hardware, so they couldn't wait 6 months. Like, they couldn't let the PS4 release and then come out 6 months later and be like, "Here's a weaker hardware." And it was too late to change the hardware. That wasn't going to happen. They might have in 6 months. They might have been able to take the camera out, lower the price to maybe the same price as the PS4. It still would have hurt it big time. So I mean, but I guess let's not get into that. I mean, the important bit is that now they are controlling the messaging. They are releasing a good console. I do think they're getting I think some of the messaging right now is getting away from them with people. Like, I saw Red Dragon talk about how, like, you see a lot of people like Red Dragon talk about how, like, this console isn't for, the mass gamer is not going to want this console. Well, no kidding. It's not made for them. I mean, to be honest, this console's not made for the guy that goes and buys Madden to play it once a week. It's really not.
Yeah, this is a conversation I had with one of the hosts. I'm a co-host of the original Next Level Gaming podcast. Plug Sundays at 9.
Plug,
but
good podcast.
But I co-host on that and had a discussion with Mike on this. Mike Mullis, Stinger NLG on Twitter, about this because he's not sure who they're targeting with it, and a lot of the thing was that they've priced him out of it. It's not. He's not going to be able to do the price or not willing to do that price. And so he's worried that Microsoft is pricing themselves out of, consumers. My thing is there is going to be a niche market for the people who want the the premium experience. It's out there, and we saw it with the Elite controller. People said, "Who's going to pay 150 for a controller?" And I love my Elite, and they couldn't make enough of them.
Well, you don't even have to go to the Elite. You can actually look at the phone market too. Like the question could be, who's the S8 made for? The S8 Galaxy, because people were like, oh, everyone bought an S8 Galaxy. No, the S8 Galaxy probably represents maybe 1% of their sales. Like, it's a very tiny amount of their sales, but it's a halo device. It's what people look at and they go, I need to get me one of their phones. Even if it's not an S8, I need to get one of their phones. And that's what it's meant for. It's meant to sell the platform rather than the actual device.
Yep, that ties in with something I've said in the past too about it, where the X is basically your Ford GT.
Yeah.
The brand new Ford GT is an amazing machine, and a couple thousand people might get one, but Ford will have it all over their advertising, and they'll take it racing, and it'll be the halo automobile for that brand. So yeah, I think you're right with that on the X for sure.
Well, it makes people excited. That's the whole point of I'm sorry, Will.
No.
It makes the whole point of those kinds of devices or vehicles, it makes people excited in the brand, and it makes people excited about, like, look what they did. Like, that's awesome. Like, they made a car that can go 216 miles per hour and do 0 to 60 and whatever. Like, they made an absolute monster, and that's awesome. I want to go buy one of their cars. Like, that's the whole point of it. I want to buy a Mustang. Like,
yeah, I feel like Transformers movies always do that to me. They always make me trying to want to get those like cars, like the Camaros and stuff like that.
Yeah,
because they look so perfect and pristine. Like,
well, that's
the
what
tires
even
full
the
of waxed
Corvette.
up.
The Corvette sells more than a Ford GT would, but a Corvette's still a halo car too, compared to the Camaro. I mean, I know it sounds kind of odd to go on these analogies, but that's what these companies do. It works. It's part of marketing. So
yeah, I feel like what they need to do is basically just keep controlling the message. They have to advertise more though. They have to actually like put in more work into like trying to get people aware of the product and why it's better than their the S and all the benefits. Because like E3 kind of showed some of that, but it wasn't like a complete blowout. Like it was like we got some stuff from Digital Foundry, then we got the E3 reveal, and then after
I have
that,
a question for you, and it pertains to this. Do you think it's because they're controlling the message too hard? In that, like, we saw even from Phil Spencer on Twitter not long ago about how they're going to be showing more like Horizon 3 and Gears of War 4 later this summer. Do you think they're like going way too far with controlling this message? Like, we only want to talk about it when we want to talk about it, to that point.
Oh, you mean like keeping it close to the vest too much?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have that problem a lot actually with regards to this last couple months. Even leading like from 2017 onwards, like I feel like they've been really quiet. Like, I understand why they want to keep surprises and stuff up and up appearances, but they should really be more forthcoming with some stuff. And it's been really hurting them because you need to build up hype for your product as well. Like you can't just rely on the hardcore to hype up the I don't want to say the casual market, but just to drive sales and maybe convince the other people to try to hop onto the 4K bandwagon. So yeah, I do think that's a big issue with them. They're too secretive. Again, I understand why, but you need to get the ball rolling. Like, and when you do, you need to keep it consistent. Like Sony has never had this issue so far because they do advertise quite a lot, and they have a lot of venues. They have PSX. They have Tokyo Game Show. They got Paris Games Week, which I don't think is a huge venue anyway, but it's like a good European venue nonetheless. Of course, top of E3, so I think they're much better prepared for that type of thing. Microsoft, yeah, they need to work on that. I do think they should try a little hard. And the whole 4K checkerboard and all that stuff, that's kind of gotten ahead of them, unfortunately. It's like it's only 2 games, maybe 2 or 3 games that actually implement that, but they need to. Well, when you have a 4K machine, you want to make sure you got to put your best foot forward. You want to make sure all these games are like really high resolution because that's what you're going for, right? So you have to try to make it as best possible, like up front, and then later on you can maybe relax it. But they don't want to dictate to developers. That's another thing. You don't want to make developers do something they don't want to do. So that's a bit of an issue too.
Yeah, no, I think a couple points there. One, I think they had to be quiet because I think they had lost credibility. I think anything saying, well, yeah, this is coming in the future too far out would just be met with skepticism. And yeah, we'll believe it when we see it because of Scalebound and Fable Legends. So I think playing it quiet was something they had to do. As far as, the 4K thing, it is so early. And we're talking about games mostly that, were in development for quite a long time before anyone could have had their hands on a dev kit. So, a lot of people, a lot of buzz on Twitter, of course, is going to be naysayers, and they're going to jump on every last thing that doesn't scream, 4K native or 60 frames. But even because parity is a word that I just it's kind of died down a little bit, but parity was just the word of the day for some people, and even there's parity and then there's parity, right? You've got parity where, sure, they're both checkerboard, but then what's the draw distance on that? What kind of textures are they using? What's the anti-aliasing? I mean, there's all kinds of ways that the headroom could be used, even if the resolution's the same. So, the whole parity thing, I just need everyone to take a chill on that. And when we start getting some side-by-sides, when we start getting some comparisons on these games, if there's no evidence there of an advantage to the X, then it's time to be concerned, but it's way too early for that.
Oh yeah, I agree. It's far too early.
My biggest problem with the checkerboard thing is that just because they're both it's kind of like saying 1080p upscaled, because just because you're saying 4K checkerboard, that doesn't mean they're the same resolution. One could be 1600p checkerboard,
right?
One could be 4K checkerboard, and they could be saying 4K checkerboard, but it's actually 1800p checkerboard like GT Sport, or it could be actual 4K checkerboard. Like, that's the problem with the term. It could be all over the place.
It's many paths to 4K. Yeah, that's the
well, it's
thing.
awesome for the developer because the developer could just be like, it's 4K checkerboard, you don't have to worry about it. But for the enthusiast, it's kind of like, well, what do you mean? Like, exactly what is it?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I think that's why they revealed that whole what is 4K. The specifications where they showed like 2160p is true 4K or something like that.
Well, it reminds me of like when Aaron Greenberg said on NeoGAF when the original Xbox One came out. He said, "I don't get where you're saying everything's 1080p because it's upscaled." It's kind of the same.
Right.
It's kind of like that's kind of the same thing, to be honest. It's everything's 4K because it's checkerboarded. No. The problem people don't 4K checkerboarded, like how checkerboarding works is I believe it takes the two, like a couple of the past frames, and it uses that to get data to fill in the new frame to increase the actual pixel count. And it could be anywhere from half of the pixels of 4K to like maybe 3/4 or so. So there is a big difference between 4K checkerboarding and actual 4K, even if it's actually 4K checkerboarded. So I don't know, it's really strange. Like it's an odd technique, but if it works, it works. I mean, I can't hate on developers for using it.
Quantum Break was among the first. I mean, well, it was Rainbow Six, Quantum Break. I think Killzone's multiplayer had a similar technique with the interpolating frames and stuff like that. Very interesting. The Quantum Break used it pretty well. It was a little fuzzy though, because especially in motion. I don't know. I think it was because the aliasing plus something else happened in there. I keep forgetting, but they did do the 720p thing. It looked fine in stills and stuff like that, but in motion it was just a little blurry. But otherwise, I think it looked
weird
fine
too.
Yeah, that too. So, I mean, they pulled it off. I think it was actually a smart technique to use to make it look better, because because when you consider how the Xbox One is powered, that's actually a really good use of it. So,
right?
Yeah.
But yeah. Unless you guys got any more words on that, because not doing this is continuing, because not doing so successfully is going to hamper potential mainstream sales even more. I think most people buying an Xbox One X have already decided on that. like, you're going to get more people as time goes on. They're going to see this device. They're going to drop the money on it. But I think at the price point and the people we're talking about, pretty much like the Elite, everyone, like, I think everyone that bought an Elite controller pretty much, especially on day one, was sold on it the second they saw it at E3. And I think that's going to be the same for the Xbox One X. I don't think anything, like, none of this checkerboarding talk is going to, it might stop a few people, but I think it's not going to stop most of the people from buying an Xbox One X that already decided to do so.
No.
As far as mainstream sales, I mean, you just never know. It's going to be all over the place. You have a lot of people that spend a lot of money that, even people that do play Madden once a week, they'll go out and buy this device just because they want the best one. So it's an odd thing. I mean, we'll see. But
I think too, as a lot of people were concerned about Sony snapping up the marketing rights and how can you advertise whether or not this game is better or not on the Xbox One X if you don't have the marketing rights. And my take on that is that's going to be a thing maybe early on, but marketing rights aren't going to stop comparisons from happening when those games actually launch. And how many times of the best version of the game being on Xbox One X is it before it doesn't really matter who's got the marketing? Everyone knows the best version is going to be on the X.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think as time goes on and the comparisons come in hot and heavy, I mean, there'll be some convincing for people. So it will get people that are actually convinced that it's a pretty powerful hardware and people will want it and they'll want to buy it. And then, it'll be in demand again. I mean, well, not again, but, it'll be in demand. So I'm pretty sure it'll do fine.
Yeah, I think that things people need to keep in mind is that it was never meant to close the gap. I know some people were really disappointed with the price point because, they wanted that punch. They wanted that, super competitive and cutthroat and, really aggressive. But it was not. I don't think it was ever meant for that. I think it's a Halo device. It's meant for the hardcore. It's kind of niche, but I think it'll have draw. And I again think it was more of a reach to developers even more than it was to players because they know they've got a problem with their first party studio. They need to get that stable grown, and so what are you going to do? You're going to rely on third party devs. If you're losing them because they don't want to build for your machine, you can't go nowhere. So everything I've heard, even down to Cliffy B, whose new game Lawbreakers isn't even coming to Xbox yet. He has said that Microsoft's, I think the quote was, getting their shit together.
Yeah.
And the Shadow of War guys, they were, oh my God, this is great. We did this in this amount of time. Arc devs are talking it up. Everything I've read from a dev has been just absolutely glowing about it, and that encourages me more than anything that MS has said about it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's definitely, you can definitely tell that Microsoft's kind of rebuilding their base again, kind of like just putting things in order before they kind of go ahead, maybe hopefully more exclusive stuff coming up. But it's interesting. You also see a lot of like nods to like the old Xbox branding, like there's no power greater than X. You see the BC stuff, Phil shirts and stuff like that, and a lot of stuff like kind of. Well, also the Voodoo Vince stuff, Phantom Dust, a lot of kind of stuff pointing towards like almost like a resurgence of like the old style Xbox, which is hopefully really good, and even the partnership with Sega hopefully will turn out to be good. So it seems like stuff is like in the making that maybe they're trying to make it feel like old Xbox, which would be cool.
Yeah, definitely. Bring me that Jet Set Radio Future.
Oh yeah, man. That and that Panzer Dragoon Orta.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, like even Phil said on stage, like and you can argue back and forth about it being cringy or whatever, but like his speech about the X thing, like is like the original Xbox was about DirectX. It was about having the strongest console, and we want to go back to that, and that's the reason. Now, they chose Xbox One X partly because that's one of the names they could copyright globally. Let's be honest here. Even Phil said, if you want to continue calling it Scorpio, you can. But it makes sense, though. I mean, to a point, it conveys that they're in the same family, which is needed. It's amazing. You still have people confused about that. They still think this is a new generation, which is odd because The only way I can even think these people get that kind of idea is either they're jumping to conclusions or they're listening to some of this media. And the media is no help to Microsoft. And honestly, that's a big problem too, because Microsoft, I think especially at this E3, they're really relying on the third-party media to talk about this and developers to talk about this and stuff like E3 Coliseum. And because it's one thing for Microsoft to say it, you know, people are tired of hearing Microsoft saying it. That's why they want the Eurogamer. They want the third-party media to say the things they're saying. They want the third-party developers to say the things they're saying. But it's really hard to do when you have outlets like Otaku and even outlets like Eurogamer. Although Eurogamer, I mean, I think they've kind of come along a bit because they know that they can't just trash talk this, or they're really going to lose favors with Xbox. It's a tough market right now as far as media. I hate to say it, but
well, I've always thought that a good portion of the writers and editors out there came up on the PlayStation, and you know, there's just a negative, there's a headwind that Xbox faces with a lot of these people, and you know, there's just it doesn't get the same breaks, it doesn't get the same benefit of the doubt. It's just, and a lot of people will try to apply conspiracy theory or label you as a nut or whatever. You know, no collusion is required for any one of these dudes to just not like Xbox.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you just look at, what was it, the thing I was banned on fucking GAF for, which is hilarious. The Digital Foundry article, opinion piece about how the guy in the Scorpio video's eyes didn't show confidence. You remember that?
Still funny as hell. Yeah,
that's still an article that's still on their website. I can't believe they even let that continue to exist. Even if it's an opinion piece, it's awful. I could never imagine no one mainstream making an article like that about Sony. But let's not get off on that. I guess let's finish up this letter though. Question 2: why the fuck don't you guys have a donation page? Look, guys, I get it. It's a hobby you love, and you don't want to come off as greedy. However, seeing for myself, as I'm just running some shitty pilot streams, this takes resources. We love what you guys do, and we want to help however we can. We need podcasts like this alive and running to help keep information balanced. I'm starting to support the effort the best way I can. I feel some type of way not being able to do the same for my favorite podcast. I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels that way. Just consider it okay. We actually use Squarespace, and the most this podcast costs us is $20 a month. We don't pay any more than that. So other than that, it just costs us our time, which you could argue is worth more than the $20 a month. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind. The reason this podcast was started, and I'm the one that started it. I mean, the reason it was started was because of watching podcasts like Podcasts Unlocked, who's in the, I guess you could say, in the light this week too. Just they don't know what the hell they're talking about. And it's amazing because they're paid to know what they're talking about. It's mind-boggling. I mean, it really is. They're literally paid to research this stuff and be objective, and they're there to tell us what we need to know about this stuff. But they themselves don't even know about it.
That's not really what it's about anymore. Now it's about turning a profit.
Yeah, it's about clickbait.
Right. And right now, it's just more profitable. And since 2013, it's been more profitable to be negative about Xbox.
Oh yeah, easy. Well, it gets clicks. It's really easy to get clicks.
You're gonna get the Sony fan clicks who want to get the affirmation they bought, whatever they bought was right, and you're gonna get the pissed off Xbox clicks. So it's always better to be negative about Xbox if you're looking for the clicks.
The only thing,
you can definitely tell they're trolling most of the time, and they're actively do news like 1% of the time. It's a short
term, I think, gain though, because what they've done is hurt their credibility to a point where it can't even be repaired. Like, there's still people that listen to them, of course, but the amount of people that listen to YouTube, like just YouTube channels, far outweighs these outlets. Big time. Look at Red Dragon's channel. His channel base is huge now. It's absolutely massive, and he's not even one of the biggest people that talk about gaming. It reminds me of the mainstream media right now too. They're just getting as irrelevant. They hurt their credibility by trying to go for the clickbait.
Well,
and
I think
now they're suffering for it.
I think actually part of it is driven by the success of the people on YouTube, the big YouTubers and their millions of views and making money. You know, the websites, people consider news boring, so they're trying to editorialize and become that whole personality thing more than, you know, in order to kind of compete, to ride along with the people who are moving things on YouTube.
Yeah, definitely. IGN's been very rudderless, kind of personality less. It's just not the same. Once like even Greg Miller and Colin left, they've just been kind of like blah. I mean, some people, I'm sure they're nice people on there. I mean, some are kind of cool, but they're just not the same anymore. Most of the people you probably followed before are now have their own YouTube channels, or they have their own thing going on. So definitely you see a decrease in that type of media now, in popularity and even and attention and stuff like that. So
yeah, I've only ever paid so much attention. I've always thought media was best when it was like Nintendo Power, and I'm aware that that's like coming straight from the publisher and it's, you know, more propaganda than anything else, but it's still better than what we get today.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. I miss that type of
that's the messed up thing.
Stuff.
Welcome, Steph.
What up?
Steph.
I'm sorry. That's the thing, though, is that to a point, I mean, honestly, the propaganda you get from Sony or Microsoft or Nintendo is better than the actual objective media, or the supposed objective media now. And it's kind of insane. But let's move on to our first news story. It's not really a piece of news, but I did want to bring this up. I don't know if you guys saw this. The TCL P607 P Series 4K TV. You guys see this thing?
Nope.
Is this like the cheapest one that they have in the market or whatever?
It's
HDR 10 and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's like a $600 55-inch 4K HDR 10 TV.
Wow.
And it's
That's
fully
awesome.
featured. This is basically the TV to buy right now. And I brought this up because it's interesting. You know, you've seen a lot of people say that the TVs aren't out there just yet. And to be fair, it's one TV. But even though I would argue there's actually Samsung TVs reasonably priced now that are 4K. But yeah, I just wanted to bring this up because this honestly is an awesome looking TV for the price. No, I'm not being paid by TCL. No, I'm not being sponsored. But I did think this would be interesting to bring into the mix and talk about because, yeah, I mean, shit, 4K HDR, 55 inch, $600.
Oh yeah, it's a great TV for like your bathroom. So like,
damn
so you have like, you know, you get your gaming in the bathroom and you have like a nice TV there. You know, just be careful with
just think about
condensation.
This time last year, you'd be buying a 55-inch 1080p TV for this price.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, this is not like I wouldn't put it as a centerpiece of my like home theater, but it'll do for now. And it's also like, even if you get like a better TV, you can always move this up to like, I don't know, some other part of your apartment or house, and still have a great looking TV set. That works with like your Xbox One S or PS4 or PS4 Pro, anything with HDR in it that will look great on this. And yeah, definitely, that's a great bargain, man. I would definitely look into this if you're looking for something right now.
Yeah, I believe they use Samsung panels too.
I'm not sure on that. I was going to say though that the just the 4K version without the HDR right now, the same TV is like $200 less. Same size. And
yeah,
everything.
you can get $400. It's nuts.
It's
Everything
crazy.
I'm reading though is that HDR is actually a larger impact than resolution.
It is to a point. I will argue against that. I'll push back against that to a bit because I don't think a lot of people have actually played 4K games. Like a lot of people, they will have played Xbox One S and seen what HDR does, just HDR, and it does an awesome. It really does change it up big time. But 4K is pretty huge too. People kind of downplay it a bit, but like just how clear things are, the draw distance you get with 4K is amazing. Basically no jaggies anymore. There's some jaggies, but none. for the most part. I mean, it's big. It's a nice jump. I thought I would sow this just as a way of going, look, it's getting out there. If you want to buy, I believe we talked about this about last year this time, that, you know, around holiday of this year would be the time to buy one of these TVs. And I would go out, look at Samsung. I know Samsung monitors, like their PC monitors, they have like $600 HDR 30 to 28-inch PC monitors that are 4K now, which is amazingly priced. I know that sounds pretty expensive, but for a PC monitor, that's an amazing price. It's like 2 millisecond gaming mode. And this TCL is supposed to have like 15 millisecond gaming mode. And compared to like Vizios and LGs, which are like 40 or 50 millisecond gaming mode, that's awesome. I mean, so...
Yeah, the only problem with this is like people would think, like, even me, I'll be like, oh, it's kind of like a no-name brand, like it's like a weird, like, out of nowhere brand. But I mean, if it lives up to the hype, then
that's the thing though with these TVs. It's like this TV is literally being made across the street from Samsung using the same panels. Wow. I mean, you could probably argue maybe some quality differences. But the thing with Samsung and LG, mostly you're paying for a brand name.
True.
You're getting a lot of upcharge through that. Because this is, like, you look at Vizio. I believe Vizio was using, I don't know if it was LG panels. I think they were using Samsung panels too. But they get these panels for cheap, and they throw them in TVs, and they're fantastic panels. So, yeah, I would say now's the time if you guys are interested in looking for a 4K HDR TV. Go out and look around, do some research, and definitely check out this TV. And check out those PC monitors that are finally coming out.
Looks like it could be pretty decent. I'm actually, what with the Switch and then the X this year, I'm actually going to hold off, I think, until into next year for the 4K upgrade, even though you'd want it for the X. But I think TVs are going to have further to come down yet, and it's still going to benefit me, you know, even on the 1080. So I think I'm going to go ahead and bite on the X this year and do the TV after.
I think either is a great choice. Everyone's going to have their whatever's in your means. Like, don't go out and instantly buy something if you don't even know if you're going to want it. You know?
Yeah, I'm actually doing the same thing Juan's going to do. I'm going to get the X and then just enjoy the super sampling on the 1080p, which it'll look great. I mean, either way, what people don't realize is even at 1080p, you're gonna get like the better frame rates, the super sampling, and it's you're gonna get pretty much every game is gonna be the ones that get patched or get the updates are gonna be 1080p and above. So you're gonna get the best picture, best quality stuff on a 1080p TV, and this will be still a huge upgrade from like your Xbox One, old fat or your S or whatever. So you're getting like a great, you know, picture quality either way. So that, and then hit up with that 4K TV probably maybe hopefully by holiday season they'll have nice good selection. I don't know if they'll have those what do you call that, FreeSync upgrade, because that seems like they'll be a little farther away.
The only thing I think you're gonna find FreeSync are gonna be those Samsung monitors. Like I think aren't that you're interested in, right, Steph?
Yeah, but they haven't enabled it in like HDMI ports yet, so you have to wait for them to do that.
We're still kind of you're kind of like flying on the edge. Like there's the problem with these TVs is that they're constantly you have constant new models coming out, and they're constantly changing the feature set, and they're constantly adding new features. So it's kind of hard to nail down which is the right buy, and it's very difficult. Like one TV will look perfect. It's the right size. It's got 4K. It's got HDR 10. It's the right price, but the backlighting is awful, and it's like, like I don't want a TV.
Then you just buy, man. You just buy without thinking about it. That's what I do. I just do it.
But it does to a point. It does matter to a little bit, though. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I think Tim does that too. Like, shout out to Tim Doggy. Happy birthday to his wife and daughter.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, shout out.
Yeah, Tim. But I think he's always trying to push back like a year like later. He's like, well, you know, I'll get the one with the 4K HDR. Oh no, I'll wait for the FreeSync. But I don't blame him. I do the same thing. I would feel the same way. But I feel like you kind of do have to have like a little bit of a cutoff, like at a certain point, because you got to be like, well, I definitely want to have a TV that has enough features in it that I'll definitely take advantage of it, and
It's,
I don't have to wait like forever.
it's like building
to
a
get,
PC. It's like
yeah.
I'm gonna wait for the new NVIDIA graphics card, and that comes out. And it's like I'm gonna wait for the new Intel chip, and that comes out. And it's like I'm gonna wait for the new NVIDIA card. It's just like, over and over and over.
Yeah,
That's how it goes.
It's tough, man.
I will say that I've seen a $300 4K TV at Walmart. It was Sharp, I think. It was like a $348 TV. So they're getting cheap, man. And Black Friday they're gonna be even cheaper, baby.
Now, one thing I will say is that buying a 4K TV without HDR is not worth it. It's just not.
It's very plain, very vanilla.
It will be. I mean, for that cheap, yes.
That cheap, yeah. Look, 4K is awesome for productivity, and it's great if you need a big monitor and you're doing a lot of production work because you can fit a lot more on one screen. And it's great for if you're just doing plain old 4K gaming, like actual 4K gaming. But HDR is a big thing, so it's kind of. If you're buying an Xbox, I'll just end it here. If you're buying an Xbox One X, do not buy a 4K TV without HDR.
Oh, forget it. Yeah. Well, I'm surprised Steph said Sharp. I was like, Sharp is still business. Like,
Yeah.
like,
yeah, they are, bro. Don't hate on Sharp, man. You talking about TCL
I like Sharp.
and TLC, waterfalls and shit.
I just
Fight.
never heard of Sharp in a while.
Fight. Look, you might have had an argument if Steph said Magnavox.
I don't know, man. Like Sharp is like it was like I don't know, maybe third, fourth tier like back in the day. I don't know. I mean, it used to be pretty good. I mean,
Yeah,
I didn't think they would like still be doing like a lot of stuff nowadays.
Magnavox made the first gaming console, man. Give him a break.
Yeah.
Pong.
Like I love that magnet box. You know.
All right. Oh God, now I can think about it as those old consoles with the Pong shit, and they had the overlays you put on your. So they bring back overlays they put on your TV. You just bring out of it. Okay. All right. Let's move on to. I kind of wanted to bring this up. PC gamers struggle to make Xbox One X equivalent PCs, and I'm going to tell you, I did a little trying myself. I know you guys have seen a lot of this on Twitter. A whole lot of this. It's really funny seeing these guys that were like, I went to a yard sale and found a GTX 1070 for $20. No.
Who the hell sold a 1070 for? Man, they were smoking crack.
Look, if you go on those YouTube videos where they're like, I built a computer, you go in the description, it says, got through private sale for extremely inexpensive. Like, no, we're talking about a PC you can go to a website to build. And honestly, yeah, I've tried building an Xbox One X equivalent, like feature to feature. It's like $1,500. It really is. You put in that 4K Blu-ray drive, you put in basically, and the small. By the way, try to make it the smallest form factor possible. It's a lot of money.
Gotta get the HDR motherboard too, man. Make sure the motherboard can do HDR, man.
Oh yeah,
it's expensive too.
Yep.
Yeah, it's something I've been saying for quite some time because I ran afoul of a big time PC YouTuber and his fan base, and for a solid week I had just an avalanche of dumb comments coming at me about, how they could, replicate it easily in their basement with off the shelf parts, and I'm just like, you can't, you just don't know, because in the history of everything, consoles have always punched above their weight until this most recent generation because they went non-custom off-the-shelf PC parts. But a custom hardware in a closed environment, intelligently designed for balance, will outdo a PC of equivalent specs every day. At least it should. That's how consoles work. So it's no surprise to me that, the actual people who aren't trying to bullshit are having a hard time matching spec for spec, dollar for dollar, the X. It's just, I don't know why anyone would think that in their basement with all the shell parts they could match Microsoft buying power and engineers. It's just retarded. So I just can't even. I got totally wore out on that entire conversation about these PC guys.
Every time I see Juan on Twitter, like he's always like in battling with like some PC guy. Like it's just hilarious because like it goes on for like pages and pages. I'm like Juan, It's all right. Just pull out, man. Just pull out.
The problem is you leave one alone, and then the next one,
Yeah.
some other guy comes up and asks the same question, like 10,000 of them haven't done it yet.
Yeah, it's like repeating the same thing.
Demands
over
the
and
same
over.
answer. It's just like, damn, But another thing that kind of got away, and I think a lot of people lost it in the 6K talk, but something the Titanfall 2 developer said that was intriguing to me was they were talking about the downscaling, the super scaling, if you will, and how internally it was running a higher than 4K resolution. And a lot of people keyed off on that, but that's not what you're going to see. That's not the important part. The important part was he said they were getting 100% out of that GPU the whole time, all the time, and that means no bottleneck.
Yeah, it's just a cool benchmark. There's nothing else. Nothing
Well,
more.
it's funny. You saw a lot of people go, "Oh, I saw a lot of arguments, not on Twitter, but in forums, GT Planet to be specific. You got a lot of people making the argument that no matter what, the CPU is going to be a bottleneck. No
Right.
matter what, like it,
Because they just know.
they just know. Well, the thing is, they don't realize in reality, it doesn't matter how strong a GPU is. At some point, you can bottleneck that GPU. And it does happen
Yes.
in modern gaming. It's not like Forza Horizon 3 bottlenecks the GPU. It doesn't bottleneck the CPU. It bottlenecks the GPU. That's why it's at 30 frames per second.
Right.
And you could definitely make the argument that they could probably make that game 60 if they ran it at 1080p on Xbox One X. Don't know if they're going to do that. I highly doubt it. But
A lot of people don't get that frame rate is a design choice.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, that's all it is. You can have a 60, locked 60, if you choose to make that be the case. I mean, everyone talks about power. Everyone says the Xbox is terribly underpowered. The Forza Motorsport Series has run 60 locked for eternity on all kinds of hardware that's less than what we have now,
Yeah.
or coming. So, it's a design choice. Xbox shouldn't mandate it. Everyone's out there. I see people out there, and I love my Xbox fam. Don't get me wrong. But some tough love for my Xbox family out there. I don't want to hear people telling Phil, you need to mandate 60. That's dumb.
No, they don't need to mandate, but I will say there's a way to brute force a lot of these games to be 60, like maybe like an unlocked frame rate or something like that. I think that if they should maybe possibly do that for some stuff, but I will say
a lot
ahead.
of people can't handle unlocked rate though. A lot of people get tripped out by the variance in the rate more than even less than 60.
Yeah, I couldn't do that because I tried that
FreeSync
with.
becomes common, that's not a problem.
Exactly.
But without
Exactly.
FreeSync,
That's why I would say that, because I got a G-Sync monitor, so I do that all the time.
Right.
Like when I play PUBG, I can't run that shit at 60. I could turn it to the lowest settings, and I don't have a shitty computer at all. But that game is not optimized at all. But if I run it at like 50 frames or something like that, it still looks good because of the G-Sync. So, but yeah.
Actually,
when they get that going, we'll be winning, man. We're gonna be winning on the X side. I'm just gonna say that.
A writer that I'm a fan of, Jeffrey Grubb, writes for GameSpeed, and he had an interesting article on Parity a while back, a week ago, about his experience with PUBG, where he found that people are turning down the settings on PUBG to get the better draw distance, to get the better frame rate.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly
I
what
read
do.
that. Yeah, I read that as well. Yeah, that was interesting.
And so in that case, having it set on a console would be maybe a little more fair, maybe a little more.
Oh yeah,
level
this
playing
was
field.
a big problem in War Thunder back in the day. In War Thunder, originally their lowest setting didn't have grass, so people would put it on the absolute lowest setting. So
Well,
to
I
get
mean,
an
I wouldn't
advantage
say it's
over others.
unfair to change your settings to get it to run better.
No,
I mean, that's
that's-
just being the smarter person. I mean,
It is unfair to a point. If
It's
if
not-
you
it's
have
not
longer,
shady. It's not shady or
it's-
cheating, but eliminating the option levels the playing field regardless.
yeah,
I mean, I agree with that. Now, if everybody's on equal playing field, I mean, yeah. But I mean, there are certain people who wanna. Let's leave PUBG, a competitive game, out of the picture. But if we're just talking single player, where I want to do what I want to do on my game, where there's no one else with me, then I'm not saying on consoles we should be able to do that all the time. But if a developer says let's just let them have it unlocked if they want to make that choice, then I'm cool with that.
Well, I'm always down for options. Like,
Exactly. That's
when you
where
look
I'm at. That's where I stand on it.
Well, the
when
way
you look
they
at Rise
fixed
of the
this
Tomb Raider on the Pro, that's a well-designed deal there, where you've got the option of going for the 60 frames at a lower resolution
Yeah,
or
yeah.
going for the higher. I think that is something that more developers should follow.
Yep, I agree.
Honestly, I'm in the camp that almost everyone should just adopt the Halo 5, lock it to 16, run it however fast you can.
Yeah, well, with the dynamic resolution shit, yeah.
Yeah.
If every game just was like 60, then dynamic resolution, I think I would be happy with that, because I like 60. I mean, 60 frames is the sweet spot. I don't care. I stopped playing Destiny because I played so much Overwatch and Halo 5 because the frame rate was just bothered me that bad.
And it's hard to notice the resolution dropping for a frame than
it
frame
is.
rate drop. If frame rate drops for like 5 frames, it is so easy to notice it. If resolution drops for 5 frames, it's kind of not. You can maybe,
and that's kind of bad. That's kind of bad.
But yeah.
Well, I'll find out.
Especially if you run a game that's at 30 and it goes to 25, you can.
Oh
you
yeah,
can
yeah.
But I mean, if you run a game at 60 and it goes to 55, a little judder, yeah, but not as bad as being in the 20s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'll find out about the difference in the dynamic resolution changing, because when I get the X, I'm going to have several games that are already at dynamic resolution, so we'll see it, max out Doom, and I'll see if there's a visible difference when I play through, because I plan on playing through Doom again, or at least enough to see, if without even an X enhance. I don't, because was that announced for X enhancement? I don't think it was.
Doom,
I think so. It was.
Okay.
Doom, yeah.
Well, that'd be very interesting then.
Well, you know what? It's funny about those games is like. What's funny about the Xbox One X is not only are you getting a console where every game uses its power, but the backwards compatible games get to use it too. You got games like Call of Duty, what is it, Call of Duty 3 or 2? That still has some issues running on the Xbox One, which could be completely cleared up with that One X. I mean, it's that's the awesome part about it. So even without dynamic resolution, you got games that aren't hitting their frame rate that could. Once it comes out, though. But yeah.
Yeah, plus the MSAA and the texture filtering, that's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
We're kind of in a launch scenario again with it, so it'll be a while, I think, before we see anyone really, squeeze the juice out of the X, if you will.
Yeah.
I have a question, Jason, for you, my bad. Will that forced is it MAA they're putting on all the games? Is that going to give it? Is that going to give jaggies at all, or no?
No. What texture filtering does is, you play Forza, and Juan will know what I'm talking about. We're big Forza guys. But if you're playing Forza and you're just sitting on a track and you're looking maybe 10 feet out, and you notice that the textures get a little blurrier and blurrier and blurrier and blurrier the farther they get away, that's texture filtering. So with 16 times texture filtering, that'll make it to where a texture that's 50 meters away will look pretty clear. From that distance, it's going to look almost like as clear as a texture that's right next to you, in comparison to maybe like a x4, which is going to look like crap. Which I don't know what Forza uses, like Motorsport 6 or Horizon 3. They must use like x8 or x4, something around there. I don't even think that high. Maybe x2 texture filtering, and it's not great. But with the awesome thing with it being forced is that you're going to get that on Forza 5, you're going to get it on Horizon 2, Horizon 3, Forza 6. So plus all the other games, I think it's going to be funny seeing Crimson Skies run with forced texture filtering 16 times. I think that's the cool stuff. You're talking about games that came out over a decade ago having forced texture filtering. And you'll have Crimson Skies with FreeSync too, if you have FreeSync. But because FreeSync's forced on the hardware level also. And you know what? To go back to topic, and we're still kind of on topic with this building PC things, that's something you can't get from building a PC. You can't. That'd be awesome if you could get something like that. You could hook up like a texture filtering card to your PC. That'd be kind of cool, actually. But you know what I mean. But if you can't put that into a gaming PC, you can't put forced texture filtering all your games into a gaming PC. You can't do any of that. Now you can get G-Sync, but that's different, or FreeSync. But yeah, And then you look at stuff like I think recently Digital Foundry did the thing with the GTX 970 to use that to try to match the Xbox One X. They had to overclock it. And by the way, the 970 doesn't support HDR. And it's not really a 4K card or meant for it. And it doesn't have the RAM. It's got like 3 gigabytes of RAM, video RAM. So they overclocked it, and they still couldn't run 4K native. So it's just, it's a really funny thing, and
Don't be throwing all that shade at my video card.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
what I
sorry.
use.
Hey man, GTX 970 is a great card. It's just
Now I got more VRAM than that though, but yeah, that's my card.
well, yeah. I mean, what's the biggest problem with this? It's not even the building PC things. It's how upset people are getting about it. No one is suggesting the Xbox One X is replacing gaming PCs. No one is suggesting
replacing gaming
crazy things said.
I'm suggesting it. I'm suggesting
You're
it
suggesting
because after this, because after it come out, it's going to replace my gaming PC for the most part because it's better than my gaming PC right now. Like I literally was going to upgrade to the 10 series, and then E3 came around, and they announced Project Scorpio 6 terabyte. I was like, oh, this is better than my computer. What the fuck?
Well, honestly, it's better than 90% of the computers used on Steam, or more. To be honest, maybe 95% of the computers used on Steam. People don't look at those analytics. I look at those analytics.
You'll have the argument that many of the high end don't participate, so that's not fair, and there may be some truth to that. But honestly,
not to that extent, though.
It boils down to the fact that you can't get better performance per dollar value than the X. That's going to be the case when it launches. There's just no two ways about it. And honestly, everyone who's like, well, I don't understand why there'd be a point because I can just play the games on PC, are completely losing sight of the fact that the majority of the console market wants nothing to do with PC.
Oh yeah, the top 10 play. I've said this on the podcast. The top 10 played games on either Xbox or PlayStation at any given time are available on PC. Yet they sell larger amounts on console, and they're played more on console because people like the convenience of coming home, turning on their console. Maybe they got an update, maybe they don't, and then playing the game. And yes, you can argue that Steam's not too bad because you can come home, Steam. Right. But then you also have to worry about updates to the Windows
PC
itself.
Gaming is getting easier, though, man.
It is getting easier.
It's a lot easier than it used to be, man. Especially with the so-called Steam boxes and all that other bullshit. I don't got one of those. I use it straight up. I built my PC with my bare hands.
But Valve doesn't test every game to make sure it just works on every piece of hardware. It's like the Apple versus PC argument. If you buy an Apple, you know that all the software is going to work for it because there's not much deviation to the hardware. And that is a truth. I mean, it's a truth for that hardware. And it's one of the reasons people buy Apples. But and the same thing goes for consoles. These games are tested, like they've said, and I can't believe this isn't true for this. I can't believe Sony's not doing this for the PS4 Pro. But that on the Xbox One X, every single game is being tested to make sure they run well with the boost, with the extra power. And if it's game breaking, they don't let it. They just run it like it normally would. The PS4 Pro doesn't do that. Their boost mode specifically, like they say, you turn it on and you run the risk of it crashing. And it's like that's fucked up.
So Jason, let me ask you something. Do you think PC guys were yelling this out?
It's impossible. Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, there's people out there who are still they disbelieve, and they'll hop on every single that's checkerboard, or that's at 30 frames, or blah 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 blah. It's just silly.
Well, the argument is, it's like, bottom line, if AMD or NVIDIA were in the market of building consoles, they could build one. They could probably build a more powerful box for $500. But they're not in that market. NVIDIA would never do that. They sell cards for $600-$700. They would never build a $500 console.
I will go out
Right.
there and say that Nvidia did make the Switch, and it's a piece of shit for the most part for $300. I mean, I like it. I'm gonna say I
love
like
my
it, but
Switch.
I mean,
You can't talk bad about my Switch.
I love my Switch too,
Look,
but it's overpriced as fuck.
the
If
only
it was
thing-
$200, I would recommend it, but
Yeah.
that's $300. It's too much money.
That's the only thing I don't understand about
Nintendo.
Nintendo is the idea that that thing is being sold almost at a loss. I almost can't believe that.
No. They making pretty good
They
money
put
off of it. The only thing that's selling as a loss is the Joy-Cons, and that's when you sell them separate. But when you sell it as a package, they make like $40-something off these things, man.
Yeah, they really overtake the
Yeah, they're making
Joy-Con.
pretty good money.
The only thing I have against the Switch is I wish they would have put a glass screen on it, but that's where I'll
Yeah.
end it. That's my only big
Yeah.
thing about it.
Yeah, that'll be the next upgrade.
Let's move off of this because I don't want to.
Oh wait. So in summation.
Yes. Yeah. Only Xbox One X will download 4K assets for available games. Something we already knew, actually, but got brought back up. So everyone, because people were like, "Are you sure?" Because I think it was confirmed in like an interview or something around the Digital Foundry reveal or something like that. But now it's more official for people. It's really odd to see people spin this shit. It's kind of like this podcast unlocked did the whole gamers are being forced to download 4K assets. Like,
Bruh, I unsubscribed to them like 2 weeks ago. I'm sorry. Ryan's still a cool dude, but I can't. I mean, I feel like he's like the dumbest person who talk about Xbox. Like, bruh, come on.
well,
Yeah,
I'm not a
How
fan.
do you not know this stuff?
if I was on their podcast, I could sit there and explain to them 4K
They
assets don't
need
require
that, dude.
4K
They
resolution.
was at E3. They was there. Did
I
they not
know.
read the Digital Foundry
But the thing
article?
is, they're paid to do the shit, and they don't realize 4K assets aren't. You don't need 4K resolution for 4K assets. All
Dude,
4K assets are is high
they got
resolution
people asking,
textures.
are they on the disc? Why are they not on the disc? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? These games are at 720p at 40 gigs, and you asking for 4K assets on the disc?
Yeah, it's one of my co-hosts had mentioned when we were chatting about this that, where was the outrage when these consoles were forcing people to download 1080p textures and use them on their 720 TVs?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's just silliness, and as far as the stuff goes, like you just gotta take it with that knowledge that you can't be surprised by any of it. You just have to know that Xbox is gonna face a headwind. Anything that can be spun is going to be made negative. Anything that can be, made a headline out of is going to be. What was it that it was? VG 24/7 had a tweet to their article. It was that the Xbox, the OG BC, wasn't going to support widescreen TVs. No, it's not going to support widescreen format, but you're going to be able to play them on a widescreen TV just fine in the format that they're designed to be.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
it's just clickbait. It's just it is what it is.
Juan, you remember last year when all the confusion, you remember that?
Yeah. It was.
It's
that was
back.
the narrative.
It's all. It's just back. That's all it is. These guys know better. I don't think these guys are that dumb. That's the thing. I really don't. But
I don't
then
know. Sometimes I wonder.
Well, you look
Like
at
when I look
NeoGAF, and NeoGAF went on for 5 pages talking about this, and like 5 posters in there actually realized that 4K assets have nothing to do with the resolution.
Yeah. It's a hot mess. When I look at, sometimes I wonder about them though, because when I look at things like Ryan from IGN, just not a fan of the guy. He'll play it off like I'm a more caring Xbox guy than you are because of my history with Xbox and because I'm critical and you're just a fanboy who can't be critical, and that's horseshit because I can be critical, right? But I'm also not duplicitous. I'm always going to be. You're always going to get the same thing from me, which is not what you can say for Ryan. Because when you look at something like, the famous line, "It's a beast, Phil." Well, what was he talking about? A 1.84 teraflop console that we knew about NAC. So you have NAC and 1.84 teraflops, and he's basically talking over Phil to tell him, "Oh, it's a beast," right? So then they bring out DF to talk about the specs of the X, right? At the time, the Project Scorpio, and it's a legitimate beast. And he's like writing about how he can't be weepy over stats. Where are the games? And it's like, Well, you were weepy over knack of all things in 1.84 teraflops. So what's with the duplicity? And basically it's just they're slaves to the fact that this is what they're doing to make money, and it's just not profitable. It's just not cool yet to be an Xbox fan.
Well, the thing is they hire these people to be Xbox guys. It's kind of like when mainstream media.
Oh, not so much anymore. I will say it has changed. IGN has changed. Like Ryan is the Xbox guy, but now there is no more Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo.
He's the Xbox guy because
everybody's a gamer. Coexist. That's
Steph,
that's how they are there.
He's the Xbox guy because no one else there even cares about Xbox. That's
no,
why
because
because
my homie left. My homie Mitch Dyer left, man.
Well, that's what I said. That's what I mean is that everyone that actually cares kinda about Xbox, not there anymore. Like you look at their panels and all of them are Sony guys, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but they're legitimately Sony guys, and like they really should go out of the way to hire some people that are into Xbox. It's kind of like when you watch these people review racing games that hate racing games. Why the fuck are you reviewing a racing game? And then people were like, "Oh, they should be allowed to review it. We want the review from a guy who hates racing games." Like
Equal
no
opportunity reviewing.
Yeah, it's retarded. I wouldn't expect someone that hates first-person shooters to review first-person shooters. And you can go on, and we've talked about it before. There's a bias in the media, and I think and there's nothing wrong with having a bias, but you got to be objective about it. You got to openly admit it, and you have to try to be objective about what information you actually are sharing. And I really don't think these guys are. I know this is kind of sounding like a whiny podcast, and this podcast kind of is the aftermath of E3, and we're just kind of dealing with the aftermath. But it's just the way it is. I mean, there isn't much other news right now. I mean, we could talk about the 6K Titanfall thing, but there's nothing to really talk about.
No,
okay, I got something we can talk about. Y'all want to talk about the hottest thing on M4G right now?
Oh,
the Ultimate Game
yeah,
Sale?
Let's do it. What is... No, that's not the hottest
800
thing.
degrees, baby. Cuphead developers quit their jobs and get mortgages on their houses again to make the game. Woo!
Wait, it was 800 degrees?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
bro.
800 degrees.
It's on fire.
That's
It's on
pretty
fire,
hot.
baby.
That's pretty hot.
Except for I already knew this like last year when they said that. I mean, why is this news now? I don't understand.
I don't know. Sometimes you see like really old news resurface again, and you're like, why is this back up again? It's a weird thing when you see that happen. Like, we already knew this. Like, what? You just kind of like you ran out of stuff. To talk
Not
about.
to be mean, but I would argue lots of game developers quit their jobs to work on the games.
Oh yeah.
Most of them do, actually.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, Cuphead,
Yeah.
that style of game and the work they put into it is
Oh, it's
just
big time,
just
yeah.
epic.
Yeah.
What they've
Yeah.
done. So I'm gonna support it. I'm gonna buy it. I mean, I'm gonna buy it because I was interested in it. I love the Irish style, but I'm gonna call for people to support that because of the work they put in. Just respect what they did, because man, what they did is gorgeous.
Yeah, that and
Looks good.
Sonic Mania are like my most anticipated like 2D pixel art game. Well, that's not technically pixel art, but it's definitely very very cool like 2D like $20 games, which would be awesome. Well, Cuphead's 30 or 20?
20.
20.
Yeah, I think 20. Yeah, pre-order
It's a
for
good
20.
price. I think that's a good price to
Yeah.
come in at.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so next up we got 620 degrees. Xbox boss Phil Spencer teases new games by Halo and Gears of War devs. I have seen amazing work.
Oh, maybe Gamescom? What do you guys think? Or maybe the
No.
Halo anniversary?
Next year.
I mean, what a new game? New games. That, I don't. Halo 6 and Gears 5. Woo hoo! Woo!
Well, it's their absence was duly noted.
Let me use my brain. I'm betting this is written from a tweet.
Yeah.
No. This was actually an actual interview. I'm pretty sure it's an interview because I remember him saying that. Yeah, I think that was from the Giant Bomb interview because he was talking about no Gears and Halo, and he said that he's seen amazing work. Blah blah. Anyway,
Yeah,
all right. Next up, this one I kind of find funny. 570 degrees. July's PS Plus free games are the best of this generation.
Hyperbole.
No, they're pretty solid. What was it? It was
Until Dawn. Which is I got that game. It's alright game. It's alright game. Let me see what the other ones are.
Well, Steph is hosting the News for Gamers section of the podcast, apparently.
I'm sorry, my bad. Is this my segment? Do I got a segment?
You're making it that way.
I just thought it was funny. Game of Thrones, the Telltale game, and Broken Age. Oh, this is a pretty good month, man. Bro, I can't even lie. Broken Age, and what was the other one?
Games of Gold is making it look better too. Games of Gold's a little uninspired. I mean, it's all right, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the only one. I can't see the other one. Who gives a shit? But yeah, this is pretty good. This is a pretty good month for them.
Yeah, it is. It is. I'll definitely give it to him.
This is my favorite one. Halo lost its magic and it isn't coming back.
Oh man, you stole my thunder. That was my next one. Yeah.
Halo's magic is its backstory, and its backstory hasn't gone anywhere. In fact, the books and stuff are doing even better. So,
I'll tell you what. Still, my favorite.
Go ahead.
My favorite, one of my favorite gaming experiences this year was still in Halo Wars 2. Halo Wars 2 is amazing, and anyone who's a Halo fan and hasn't played it, I shouldn't say it's amazing. Let me, because that'll come across hyperbolic. Halo Wars 2 is a really good game. If it's not the best RTS that there ever was or whatever, but for a console it's really solid. But what it is a really, really good Halo story. And so if you're into the Halo universe and you like, the setting and you're down with all that, man, I tell you, at one point in the Halo Wars 2 story, man, I was just so pumped. I was so just pumped up about it that I was just pissed off that it didn't get the reception it should have gotten. That more people weren't going to see what I saw because of the reception that it got in the media and by Halo fans who weren't interested in trying something different with Halo.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say it did. I mean, they didn't get shut on, but it is an RTS now. I mean, I don't know what else to. I don't know and any other RTS that gets praise except for fucking StarCraft, and it's a Blizzard game. Blizzard could fucking shit on a plate and people would eat it.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Halo RTS.
Yeah. I came up with RTSs on Command and Conquer and Red Alert and Homeworld, and I never really got into StarCraft, but yeah, I played them all. And it's a very credible RTS. It plays well and it's play anywhere. So if you are tripped out about RTS with a controller, you can put it on the PC. It's totally worth doing if you're a Halo fan, because I'm telling you that plot I would rather see more about the Spirit of Fire and Jerome and Cutter and Isabel than Locke and his crew. I mean, I like Buck, don't get me wrong, everybody likes Buck, but I would rather see that crew see more story and more love from 343 than that Spartan team.
You can't hate on Luke Cage, man.
I would rather the next Halo game being a recreation of Reach from the actual book.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right.
Now follow the Reach.
Like
the only Halo book I ever read.
The first mission. Well, the prologue to the game would be you getting kidnapped and getting taken to this boot camp and going through the experience, and then the first level would be the first mission that you ever went on, which was to assassinate a rebellion leader on an asteroid city or something.
So you mean Halo the action game, not Halo the FPS?
No, it would be an FPS. It would be an FPS. So you could do it.
When I say, I mean, you can be an FPS and be an action game.
Yeah.
I mean, like kind of like BioShock.
Yeah. Well, the whole point of this is that Reach is an amazing book. It's one of the best gaming books ever written, and it really deserves a game. And not Halo Reach. Halo Reach did not do that book justice at all. It wasn't even. It was a good game. It was a good game. It wasn't a bad game, but it tried to rewrite the backstory, and I love that they came out and they said that's not the true backstory.
It was my favorite Halo game, but they should kind of find a way to. I think the books kind of try to.
Well, they need to hire the book writers to write for the games, because they have great book writers. But then they don't allow for the risks on the game, and then we get games or storylines that don't really go anywhere.
Yeah, it's at a point where the media is superseding the games as far as just the quality of writing, which is kind of
that's exactly what I was gonna say. The fucking what's it called? I always bring that shit up. That podcast, She was fire.
Oh, yeah.
Fire, man. Had my skin crawling and everything. I was on the edge of my seat listening to that shit.
I think
And I play Halo
Microsoft
5
needs
and
to
I played
learn
3 missions and I'm
that-
like, what the fuck?
Microsoft needs to learn that it's better to take risks than it is to play it safe on stories.
Yeah, agreed.
Even if you take the risk of a story being bad, it's better than playing safe. Because playing safe on a story is bad too. And Halo 5 was playing it safe. It really was.
Oh, and please implement
What would you say about Gears 4 then? What would you put Gears 4 in?
I liked the story in Gears 4, but I kind of felt like it didn't end
Thought
in
it
the
was
right
awesome.
spot. I kind of felt like it should have went a little farther with the actual story. But
Well, I liked it. The only complaint I had with that game was that the third act could have been 2 acts.
Yeah.
It could have been split at the elevator.
yeah. I don't think the problem with Gears is the story. I think people are getting tired of the gameplay, the cover shooting gameplay. But that's going to be
Yeah,
interesting.
that's
to
just
see
when
what
you make a new
happens.
fucking game. I mean,
Yeah.
Gears of War is the cover. Gears of War is the gameplay. I mean, you can't change gear. If you change the gameplay, then it's not the same game. It's another game.
No, I agree.
So they should just make a new game. That's what I think they should do.
No, I agree. I think Gears 4 was a nice way of ending the franchise, and I think they should do something new.
In the
Yeah.
franchise,
No,
I
I
have a
come
feel.
on, bro, it just gets started.
no,
again.
I think Coalition should be able to make their own game, but
They should. I think they should have They should have another team. I mean, I know it's hard to have all these fucking teams. I know I'm saying this, talking on my ass, but Gears should never. I mean, I don't want to say never stop, but Gears should.
it should have a
keep going.
hiatus though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not after this one. I mean, come on, live on a man. That was a dope ass ending, man. Come on, man.
Well, I have a feeling that they're gonna to spice it up. They're gonna give them like these cool exosuits and speed up the gameplay and make it like Vanquish or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Juan. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say I'd like to see him try something new, but I don't think it's gonna happen for a little while. I'm okay though with Gears. I mean, I like Gears gameplay, and co-op Gears is awesome. You know, so bring it on. I'm ready for more. I think that they were a little safe with this one, but I think that was by design. I believe Rod had said that being that there was a new team picking up the new start of a new series of it, they wanted to kind of ease into it, but they're be taking more risk with the next one. So there's hope.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
we look
were.
forward to the-
They were
It's
saying
easy to say that when that game was already. It was kind of pre-made. Like they made that game in 18 months, but there was already 6 months. 6 months of work already done with Epic Games. They had already had like prototype versions of the game. All they had to do was kind of finish it. Like the story was already written. They didn't have to do much of anything.
Well, like they said, they were with that game. They were proving that they could make a Gears game.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the next game they're gonna make it their own. They're gonna do different stuff with it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Exosuits.
it's going to be another Gears game with the
Yep.
same
Yeah.
combat that you said everybody's tired of. So, which I'm cool with. I love Gears. That's my shit.
Is there anything else you guys want to talk about, news wise? Anything you want to touch on? I know
Pretty good.
I tried to find anything interesting to talk about, but right after E3, it's kind of hard.
It
Yeah.
does get
What do
dry.
you guys think about this
Yeah.
SNES mini shit? What do you think about that?
Well, let's see. It's a little crazy that let's see. I own all the games, and it's going to be very difficult to get, and I still want it.
I don't want to endorse piracy, but if you want to play the SNES games, you can right now. You can go on your computer, and you don't even need a good computer. You just go on your computer, download an emulator. I'm not going to say exactly which one, but there's a fantastic one out there. It plays pretty much every game, and you can do all kinds of filters and up-res the games and everything. They're all there. I mean,
Or
you
you can also hold off for the virtual console for the what do you call it? The Switch,
Nice.
and hopefully they'll have all those games on there as well.
or
Cartridges. Real men buy cartridges. That's all I'm saying.
you could go out and buy one of the many available hardware emulator basically that they sell now that plays Sega games and Nintendo games and Super Nintendo games and all kinds of games. So
Do any of you have the NES Mini though?
no,
Hell no, I ain't buying that shit. Fuck
it
that shit.
didn't have a
I got
great
mine.
selection in my opinion.
I got mine for retail, so I didn't pay over for it, and I love
Sell
it.
it, man. Sell it for $500, man, right now.
Nope. I like it too much.
I kind of wish it would play
Damn, that
cartridges.
thing is small. Hold it
though.
up again.
All Vanna White with it here.
Oh, sweet.
Juan, do you think they should have made it
You
so
got
it
big
played
hands, or
cartridges?
is it just that small?
No, it's pretty small.
It's
Like
small.
here is
Oh, that's crazy.
here's an old school Zelda cartridge, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's-
yeah, that's cool.
And the HDMI output's nice. It does it and it runs well on my big screen, and it's I can easily take it with me somewhere. I've got all the games on it. Yeah, I mean you can mod them or whatever, but I'm not real big into that. It's a solid little thing. I wouldn't come close to paying what anybody wants for one if you couldn't get it retail, but I got lucky and got a pre-order day one from Toys R Us, so it was absolutely worth it for me.
Nice.
Do you think it should be able to play cartridges? Because that's my main
Yes.
problem with it.
No,
No, you don't.
no,
No.
because you're talking about all kinds of more costs you're going to add on by doing that.
Yeah.
And for what, really? I mean, I love my cartridges, don't get me wrong, but for the purpose of that device with an HDMI out and all that anyway, why put mechanical things in it that'll fail, contacts that'll wear out? You're working off of ROMs anyway. So
okay.
no, yeah.
Then I got another question. So they have made it so you could buy more games with it, like packs after it came out,
Yes.
with more storage on the device. You don't need a ton of storage for more games. Those games are tiny.
No, they are. I think that would be cool, but I think then they're looking at licensing issues too.
Yeah.
Because everything comes down to licensing issues all the time.
It really licensing issues blow.
I mean, that's probably why we don't see Chrono Trigger on the Super NES version.
That's why we don't have Forza on backwards compatibility.
Yep.
All those
Forza
games,
4 would be amazing on BC.
all those car licenses and music licenses and track licenses. Nope. Yeah, that's not happening. Yeah, but
All right, I got another one for you. Did you guys already talk about the fuck, I can't say the dev's name, but Rocket League devs asking Sony every day for fucking crossplay still?
yeah, I'm just tired of talking about that.
You just started talking about crossplay? Man, look,
Yeah.
I'm tired
I'm not tired of talking about
defending-
crossplay. I'm tired of talking about begging Sony to do it.
Oh, well, look, this is the thing I don't understand. Like, even after this comes out, people are still like, well, Microsoft didn't want to do it last gen, so, whatever. Like, what the fuck, man? Can we just not have it? Can we not just have it? Can we not just say, hey, they're being anti-consumer right now. They're not for the players right now. Just do it.
Stop being
Just do it.
being petty. Stop being petty. Just do it.
Well, the big argument right now is, but on Minecraft you have to use a Microsoft account. They don't want to make.
That's
new
only
Microsoft
on Minecraft.
accounts.
That's
It's
one
only on
game that's a
Minecraft.
Microsoft game.
And what a
Yeah.
what a dumb argument is that Sony doesn't want to make more Microsoft accounts. Who the fuck cares?
Okay, what about Rocket League? What's their excuse for Rocket League? Because you don't got to do it for that
Their
either.
excuse for Rocket League is the children. It's for the
Okay,
children.
I'm gonna take my little car and I'm gonna chase the kids around. Cool. Yeah.
Well, I think, and Phil Spencer rightfully called them out, them saying that we don't know if other services can protect children that play on our network, and it's like, really? Sony, you're the last one that gets to talk here. You really are.
You could tell in that interview with Giant Bomb, he had some other things he wanted to say, but he did a pretty good job of roping it in.
Yeah.
Another thing that came out too, also, real quick. I'm sorry, I know I'm extending it a little bit, but you guys hear about the whole PayPal thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't. It's pretty nuts.
It's pretty nuts. People are losing their accounts over this shit, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. Sony's got a long way to go when it comes to that kind of stuff.
And to
You
be
know
fair,
what I think it is
Microsoft will ban you too if you do chargebacks. I mean, they both will. But Microsoft is a little more open about it, although.
Well, what exactly? Go ahead and explain to me so I know what the fuck's going on. Because I didn't read
from what I gathered, it was people were randomly getting chargebacks after purchasing something, and.
Well, now what is that? Tell me what that is. I don't know.
A
What that is.
chargeback.
That's when the bank takes the money back.
Yeah, it's basically the bank sees if the bank sees that a charge is not valid, or if it's done by something like if some guy stole your bank information and bought something, your bank could go talk to the company and be like, no, we're going to charge that money back because it wasn't a valid purchase. And it's a completely fair thing to do. It's not illegal or anything like that. Banks do it all the time. The problem is Sony and Microsoft really don't like it. Microsoft is a little more lenient about it. They might give you 1 or 2 times. If you do it with Sony the first time, it is a ban. They really don't play about it. The problem with Sony is they don't understand after so many times, and it's not like it's uncommon. The amount of people that have had their accounts hacked and have to do chargebacks because it's the only way to get their money back because Sony refuses to give the money back. And, I mean, you're losing accounts with thousands of dollars invested into them. It's a big pushback towards digital gaming, to be honest.
Okay. Okay.
With the
break that down for me, brother.
on the
I
MS
appreciate
side, though, at least they do give you an option of self-serve refunds.
Yeah, exactly. But, yeah, Sony... Oh, man. And the crazy thing about the whole thing was apparently the bank said it was Sony's fault for the chargebacks.
Right.
So it wasn't even... It would be one thing if PayPal had fucked up and PayPal was like, oh, shit, we caused the chargebacks. Nope, it was Sony that caused them. Which is why they're unbanning people. But, yeah, it's absolutely absurd. You want to do what we've been playing? We haven't done it in a little while.
Oh, shit. Yeah, somebody else go first. I'll go last.
Well, I've been playing Seltered. Game's great. I don't know if you guys played
what?
Seltered. Seltered. It's, I believe, wasn't it on the... It was one of the first games in their early access program.
Sheltered.
Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't understand them either. Okay, no, cool.
It's kind of like Fallout. It's kind of like a mix between Fallout Shelter and the original Fallout games, where you have a little mini map where you send your character. You can go to... Well, you have an overview map where you can walk around that map with an overhead, and then you get somewhere and you can walk around. But you don't get somewhere and walk around. You get somewhere and your characters explore it, and they find resources and all that, or they might get into a fight. But the whole point of the game is it's like Fallout Shelter, but actually like really good. Not that Fallout Shelter's bad, but there's not much to Fallout Shelter. There's a lot to this game, and it's really hard. But it's a really fun game.
Hey, don't you be talking about my Xbox One exclusive Fallout Shelter?
Fallout Shelter is a good game, but I don't think it has much going for it. And this game has you're managing multiple people that have their own traits. That some might eat more, some might sleep too long, some might be more courageous than others, and you might you have to actively fix and upgrade everything in your shelter over and over, frequently, to the point where, and you have to upgrade to have more people in your shelter. So if you accidentally invite more than you can handle, the O2 filters for your shelter will start to make your shelter run out of oxygen till everyone suffocates. And you might have to throw someone out of the shelter, and on their way out, since they're pissed, they might contaminate your water. Or they might set a fire in your shelter.
It's a little bit grim there, bro.
And, the game's grim. The people in your shelter can die. And if you're at a point where you have no food and you have no way of getting any, you can actually harvest them. And there's a trauma mechanic, and your people can become traumatized and all kinds of stuff. It's an extremely fun game. And if you've ever were interested in a game like that, I highly recommend it. I'm not sure how much it costs right now. I'm not sure if it's part of the sale, but it's a very good game. But yeah, I've just kind of been playing Seltered, and it's really fun, so I recommend it. Who would like to go next? Will? Go next. Juan?
Let me see. I'm pulling up my achievements.
God damn it.
Well, some of you go ahead of me. I'm still...
Mostly, I've been playing some Forza, various versions. I just wrapped up. I don't know if anyone who plays Forza doesn't know about it, but there's the rewards page, and if you're playing Forza, and you're not on the rewards page, you really need to sign up for it, because you'll get frequent money injections depending on the tier of Forza player you are.
Hold on. When you say money injection, you mean real money? You talking about this Forza cash?
No, cash in the game.
Some real money. God damn.
No, but I'm a top tier rewards guy, so every 10 or 15 days. I can't remember the timetable on it, but I get like a 500,000 in Forza Horizon 3, Forza Motorsport 6, and Forza Horizon 2.
What tier are
And
you at, Juan? I gotta.
11.
God damn you.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Last night, because when you go to the page, there's a points value for every game, and so like Forza Motorsport 3, for example, or Forza Motorsport 6, is worth 3,000 points, and once you have a required amount of achievements, cars driven, miles driven, things like that, you'll max out those points. And they go all the way back to Forza Horizon 2, or Forza 2, I should say, Forza Motorsport 2, the first one on the 360, and I've got them all maxed out now, except for Horizon 3, which I'm working on. But I finished up Apex, the PC version of Forza Motorsport 6, just last night, and been doing a lap time challenge with Stick Figure on Twitter there,
yeah.
and that's been a good time.
It's going hot and heavy. I've seen even Dealer put his hat in the ring.
Yep, no,
Okay,
pretty good
see,
time.
I can't fuck with none of that shit you talking about because I suck at racing games, but I race in real life, so that's what's up.
Yeah, no, I do I did. I'm looking hopefully in the near future, next year or two, to get back into it. But I used to do autocross racing in the real life, but yeah,
Oh, that's
digging
what's
that
up. Okay, what you whipping? What you whipping?
old Mustang, just an old 2 GT, 5 speed.
Muscle car guy. Okay, all right, cool.
But as it goes, been doing that. Been playing a lot of retro stuff for my segment that I do on the OG NLG podcast, where I do a recommendation of a retro game every week. And so I've been busting out the NES today and last couple of days and playing up some of that so I can do that this week.
Nice.
Cool.
Just to give perspective on his tier 11, you guys know how much I play Forza. I'm at tier 9.
Yeah, I mean, I heard you say fuck him. I was wondering. I was like,
I'm at tier
Jason, what?
9.
You supposed to be number one, baby.
Here's my friends leaderboard. I'm 55th place. That's the kind of people I have on my
jeez.
friends list.
Okay.
Man.
People
okay.
play Forza insane amounts. Let me see.
Yeah.
Let me see. Juan,
Yeah, I'm talking to the
even
guy
at
that
your,
was in
let
the
me
credits
see.
for what game was it, Jason? The credit for what game? You was in like the thank yous, and what game was that you was telling me about? What game was that?
I don't
You don't
remember,
know?
dude.
You don't know what the fuck I'm talking about?
No.
We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it off air.
Okay. Let me see. I'm trying to find Juan on my on this leaderboard. I saw it for a moment.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what tier I am. I think I'm in.
You're at third place, Juan. He's not even with all of it maxed out. You're still at third on my friends.
Wow.
Yep.
Like that's
Yeah.
absolutely nuts. Like people
I'm
play
tier
the
7.
crap out of these games. So I feel good with tier 9. I'm 141 points away from tier 10. So
Yeah, that's
I
pretty
have to get it done. I'm kind of lazy
Yeah.
on it. But yeah, I agree with Juan. It's an awesome program. You can also use it if you go into the menu system on Forza Horizon 3. You can also get it from there with the Forza Hub.
Yep.
You can also get the app on Windows 10, the store. So
I've got 413 points. No, 12 points to get, and then I'm done until the next one comes out. I usually try to get them all completed before the next version lands.
yeah, so you get all the extra cars and all that.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I've fallen behind on that one. I'm actually catching up now. I'm trying to finish up Forza Horizon 2. So I'm trying to finish that complete, and then I'm gonna hit up. I mean, I was playing 3 currently as well, but I was just like, you know what, let me go back to 2 because then it's gonna be weird because it's gonna mix all together, and 3 has a lot of better stuff than 2 as far as like sound and some graphics. So I don't want to like kind of go back too much, but yeah, I've been playing Forza Horizon 2. Picked up some games in the sale like Flame in the Flood.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good. A little bit of tearing. Hopefully, I get the X. The X will have some enhancements on that one. Played a little bit of Assassin's Creed Black Flag, a little bit, and mostly playing some Killer Instinct because they added a new character.
Eagle.
Oh, Eagle.
Eagle. Yeah. He has an awkward stance like when you see him stand, but he's pretty cool. He's an interesting move list. Very. He outputs a lot of stuff, arrows, birds, a lot of stuff. So he's a very cool character. I'm having a lot of fun with him. So yeah, that's pretty much A little bit of Enter the Gungeon. That's a fine game.
Do you think they should continue on with updating Killer Instinct, or do you think they should make another one?
I think they should just finish up the patches for like whatever's like having
4K.
issues. I guess.
Well, it's gonna get a 4K patch too coming up.
Yeah, well, mostly gameplay bugs. I think they should clean up all the gameplay bugs and then move on to the new one.
Yeah. Don't Project Cars it. We're not gonna.
No, don't do that.
Don't start a Kickstarter when your first game's still fucked up. Okay.
Yeah.
Steph.
Are y'all ready for this? Y'all ready for this?
Oh God. What are we?
Okay, are you ready? All right,
Yeah,
so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna announce that I've officially given up on Star Citizen. Fuck that
Oh
game,
Jesus.
and I have moved on to players Battleground. How the fuck you say the name?
Player
All those
Unknown
words.
Battleground. I
Let's
don't
just
know.
call it
PUBG
PUBG.
or whatever.
PUBG.
Yeah.
And I'm saying I'm playing. I'm addicted. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm sipping on the juice. I'm dipping into the sauce. All
Hey
that
man,
shit.
sometimes something is good and popular because sometimes something's popular because it's actually good. So
yeah, the game's
don't
fun,
feel
man.
too bad.
I mean, game runs like asshole, just like Star Citizen. I
And
mean,
Ark.
it's a little bit better. I would say it's a little bit better optimized, but the difference is you ain't all in space and all that shit. So I kind of got to give Star Citizen a small pass. But I mean, that game's been out for a long ass time. I mean, it's been in early development for a long time. So I'm sorry, Star Citizen. You got my money, but fuck you. I might try to get a refund if I can. I don't know if I can or not. But anyway, been
luck.
playing that. I've been playing that game PUBG a lot. I like it. I like
Nice.
it quite a bit. I can't wait for it to come to Xbox. I will say that I have a dope keyboard. I got the same one Dustin got. I have a dope keyboard. I've had it for like a year and some months. And my wrist is on fire when I'm playing it, and I fucking hate keyboard and mouse. I want to use a controller. So please hurry up and come out.
That's
going
going to be interesting because they're talking about doing cross-play, and I'm
Yeah,
wondering about
yeah.
keyboard and mouse versus controller on that.
Man, look, I play Gears 4 on PC against these PC weirdos or whatever, or I won't call them weirdos. These PC guys who are just
These weirdos.
incredibly good with keyboard and mouse, and I still beat them. And only reason why I say it weirdo is because I don't see how people can play on PC all day long and not have fucking carpal tunnel. So I'm just gonna just throw that out there because my wrist hurts because, like I said, I've been going hard on PUBG. But shout out to that game. The game is dope as hell. Also, I have played, of course, Halo 5. That's my shit. My go-to.
Yeah, we gotta get back on that, man. Do some.
Yeah.
I'll put you in my backpack and carry you, bro.
I didn't
Yeah.
mention it, but I've been playing a lot of Halo 5 too. Like
Have you?
getting the rec stuff and all that.
Yeah, we gotta do a team.
Hey,
thing.
well, let's do it, man. Come on, I'll put y'all both in my backpack and
Look,
carry you.
we only talk on this podcast. Nothing goes on out of that.
Bro, come on, man. Hey, look, if you ever want to play, look, y'all always talking about these. I go hard at multiplayer. I'm trying to tell you, man. If you want to play, we can play.
Okay.
Now, what else have I played? I was wanting to hop into Diablo 3. Has anybody tried the new update with the new character?
Oh yeah. I bought that. The warlock thing, whatever it was, right? The
Necromancer.
Necromancer.
Yeah, has anybody bought that? I don't have it.
Me
I do
and
have it
Dusty
for
have
Xbox, my highest characters on PC.
Me and Dusty have it. I haven't played it yet, but I plan on it.
Oh,
Me too.
okay.
Man, that game sharing's great. I'm just saying.
That
Great
what
game
sounds
sharing.
great.
Game sharing is great. I'm just saying.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. I forgot I had it too, because that's how I got it, because of the guy I game share with. He also he has that game, so I have it, but I don't ever fucking play it on Xbox. I mean, that's the one game you want to have a fucking keyboard and mouse with. I mean, I'll go ahead and throw that out there. That game. But yeah. What else have I played? Jesus, I feel like I need to check. I don't get no achievements, man, because I play multiplayer so much. I mean, people look at my thing and it says like 11 years. They're like, you only got 40-something thousand games? What the hell? Yeah, look at how many hours look how many hours I put in the Destiny, Halo, and everything else I play, and you'll see why I don't have that much gamer score.
I don't care about gamer score. The people that have high gamer score are the guys that they purposely go out of their way to rent like crap games just to get gamer score and shit.
Not
like
everybody
that.
does that. Not
Not everyone. Not everyone.
But like one of my friends that I play with, I mean, they have like a lot of my friends have over 100,000 because we've been playing fucking Xbox since like
for so long. Yeah.
since it came out. I mean, it's just naturally. But I mean, I just played one game for a long ass time, whereas they always played all the single player games where I was just still like kissing Halo 2's ass, even when, you know, it was still just a regular Xbox game.
Yeah.
Everyone was playing the Xbox 360s. Like, yeah, look at this Godzilla. This is a cool game. And I was still playing Halo 2.
That game was shit too.
Well, not Godzilla. What was it? King Kong. That bullshit. That shit looked pretty, but it was
That game was shit too. I thought you meant the new Godzilla
Everybody
game
remember
that was
King
Sony
Kong, bro.
exclusive or something. That game was shit. And so was that.
I also want to
So
give
was
a
that
shout
King
out
Kong game?
to
Wasn't that King Kong game a launch exclusive, or not a launch exclusive, but a launch game on 360?
yeah, it was a launch game on 360.
I was playing
Also wanna
Project
give-
Gotham Racing, man.
Project Gotham Racing. Of
Yeah,
course, you was.
PGR3.
I also want to give a shout out to my Switch. I've been playing that too. I almost beat Zelda. I haven't beat it yet because there's no other game on the Switch that I want to play right now. So as soon as I beat,
MK8D is the best thing on the Switch.
what's that?
MK8D. It's the best thing on the Switch.
What is that?
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Mario, man,
yeah.
look, I got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on my Wii. It's
You
the same thing.
gotta get it on the Switch, man. You just don't know until you play that game handheld. It's amazing on a handheld.
Oh, I'm not one of those guys. I don't play it to my TV, but I don't feel like I'm doing something. Look, I bought the Switch specifically because I knew it was going to get a Monster Hunter game, and then Monster Hunter comes out on Xbox. So now I don't even. I feel like I can sell this thing. And
Look, I promised, and I
You'll
will
regret
make.
that when Mario comes, though, if you do that.
I'll make good on my promise.
I
though.
agree.
I'll make good on my promise. When this Pokemon game the dedicated Pokemon game they're making for Switch, I'll buy a Switch when it comes out for that Pokemon game.
Oh, you ain't got to buy one.
Hey man, I made it a promise. I was like, if that would be the one thing that make me buy that system is a dedicated Pokemon game, because it's been annoying how Pokemon games have been stuck on the 3DS and all.
Yeah, I
that
can't wait
so
for that
long.
Pokemon game to
And
come out.
Game Boy.
Pokemon Snap 3 or 2 or whatever it's going to be
Oh
called.
god, no!
Yeah,
I
that's
want
what
if
gonna
it's
be,
not a
bro.
real Pokemon game, I don't care. But I'm pretty sure they said it's a real Pokemon game. It's not a like a stadium or anything like that. It's an actual Pokemon game.
The problem I have with Nintendo and their hardware, because I don't understand why they don't make hardware where everybody can make games for it. They make hardware where they can only make games for it, and they say everyone else try to make a game for this. Like, not many developers want to make a fucking game for them tablet, man. Come on, bro.
I heard their SDK is pretty good. I don't think that's the problem. I think
whatever.
I just-
No, it ain't good, man. Come on,
Yeah.
man. Get that shit out of here, man.
That's what I heard. That's what I've seen developers say. Their SDK is not
Whatever,
bad.
man.
It's not terrible.
Okay.
I-
We got in the world where we got games using fucking 8 fucking gigs of memory just for games, where this damn thing come with a 32 gig a hard drive, bro. Come on, man. Battlefield 4 on Xbox One was 40 gigs, man.
I don't
Just saying.
expect the next Battlefield to be on the Switch. I don't expect anything.
I
like
know,
that.
but I mean, I don't expect it either. But I mean, I just want Nintendo to get with the times, dude. Nintendo could be the best if Nintendo was made a console that
Juan
was
shaking his head no.
I think they would be the best, bro.
They just gotta do what they do.
Zelda is so.
The
dope.
reason
Zelda's
Nintendo
my
could be
all-time
fine right
favorite
now-
game. If Zelda could look, I mean, it looks good on the little screen, but when I play it on my TV, it does not. It doesn't. It looks like ass juice. But if they made a console that was at least as powerful as the PS4 and Xbox One, I think that game would be.
Steph,
so
I
much
will
better,
promise you,
bruh.
they will make a console as powerful as
I
the
want
X.
a regular controller. I don't want to have to pay $80 for the fucking Pro, man. Can
Steph.
you just give me a regular controller in the box?
Steph, I promise
If
you.
Nintendo did what other ones do, they wouldn't be Nintendo. It wouldn't be good. It'd be bad.
Yeah, I just want.
I need something different. I don't want.
Send a
I don't
friend
want another
request
console
without
with my
putting
Xbox.
numbers in, bro. I don't want friend code still. I want to be able to do chat without all this weird shit.
They got things to catch up on some of how they handle online, but I don't want them to lose being different because I don't want another Xbox. I love my Xbox, but I don't need another one.
No,
want
I
something to
agree. I
complement
don't.
it.
The thing that's
Well, I don't want another Xbox, but I want them to be at least hardware level on par with everybody else. It's like,
I
might as
don't
well
need
be
that
using
when
a
their
goddamn
exclusives are.
toaster.
I don't need that when their exclusive games are the best things you can get, though.
Look,
I mean-
Zelda put a lot of the devs on notice, but at the same time, though, I feel like whenever I pick up my Switch, even though I'm having fun, 10, 20 minutes into it, I start realizing how much of a step back I'm taking when I was just playing The Witcher. I mean, The Witcher. I mean, that's probably number one for me right now. Even though there's a lot of you ain't like The Witcher.
I got about 10 hours into The Witcher. I'm just like, nah.
Bruh, that game is
fight.
I'm just not the medieval CSI thing didn't do it for me. The combat didn't do it for me. It was pretty. It was very pretty, and I was like, here's this huge
graphics
world.
alone.
Go
Graphics
explore.
Alone. Story.
Like
story wise, Zelda. I mean, we can both agree. Are you gonna tell me that Zelda Breath of the Wild's got a dope story? I mean, you're not gonna say that, are you?
I'm gonna say Zelda Breath of the Wild does a better job of going, here's your goal, go, and if there's anything you want to do, just do it, because never does that game tell me no. Can I do this? Yes. Can I climb that? Yes. Can I do this thing? Yes. And so it does a better job of being an open world game than The Witcher. The Witcher, it's great. I'm not, any flaws Witcher has are flaws in me not appreciating its greatness.
No, I agree with you. If we just talking about as an open world, as a game, I would say overall Zelda is better. But if we talking about, I'm just asking like an aspect of story. I think like because it's a more mature game for me, of course. I mean, you can go to brothels and all this other crazy ass shit, but like from a mechanics perspective and physics and all that shit, Zelda is dope. That's why I think that like on a bigger scale, like as The Witcher, I think they could do something even like how much more they could do. That's what I'm saying. Like I just want them to go do more. I want more from these motherfuckers, man. That's all I'm saying. I just think they could do more. But I mean, like I love what they done. They just gonna have to top it. Like it's just like Nintendo is like one step behind in the hardware, so they can get away with just a little bit more. Like because I'm like, damn, how can they do this on this tablet? And at the same time, I'm thinking, man, if they was doing
Here's
this
the
on
thing about
Xbox,
Nintendo, though, Steph, is that they can't come in at a high price. What they sell,
bro, they came in at a high price. $300 for this tablet is expensive.
But that's the highest they could go. Like the Switch couldn't have gone any higher than $300. But
if they took the dev time, the resource, whatever time that he did with all this shit here, they could have made a $300.
Well, Nintendo knows that all they had to do was make it. All they had to do was make sure their games looked good on it. That's all they needed. That was their standard they needed to meet, and that's all they needed to do. I'm not arguing that there aren't problems. I don't personally own a Switch. I got my problems with it. It's still a good device. But at the same time, Nintendo exists in a place where they don't have to worry about competing with Sony or Microsoft.
They don't.
They are what they are.
No, I agree.
They sell to their own
I'm
crowd.
talking about I'm just talking about me as Stephen. I'm talking about Steph.
Steph, we don't talk about you, Steph. No.
Can I just talk about what I want? I want a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? I want a lot of shit from Microsoft too. It's Sony, but I'm just saying like when I'm playing this thing, and I know after I beat it, ain't nothing else I want. I mean, I almost bought Mario Kart like 10 times, but I look at it like this. There's games on PlayStation and Xbox that are remasters that I didn't buy specifically because they was remasters.
Can I
and
say,
I agree that I don't want to pay that much money again for the same game. I don't care if I can walk down the street with the shit. That's not good enough.
I just want to say that I'm just happy that there's crossplay between Xbox and Switch, though. I'm just happy that exists.
Oh yeah, I'm happy about it too. So I can bust up these motherfuckers with these weird ass controllers when they with they hurt ass thumbs. Yeah, so I can bust their ass in Rocket League at least until. See, that's the thing, man. They ain't. All right, so it was rumored that this new Call of Duty game is going to be on the Switch. They ain't really announced it yet, but it's a rumor that they're working on a version for it.
Yeah, before we get into a whole new topic, though, I gotta be going in like 5 minutes. I've eaten since like noon.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. We're gonna end.
We're good. I'm sorry. We drag on.
Steph,
I'm sorry, my bad. I'll try to hold it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? My bad.
Steph's like, if we're not doing a 2-hour show, it's not a show. So, yeah,
Sorry.
we were going to
No,
go
no big
ahead
deal.
and end it anyway. So,
Yeah, I just got to hit the road.
yeah, no problem, man. Want to thank you for coming on. Definitely.
Of course,
Yeah.
anytime.
Yeah, thanks,
Be happy
Juan.
to come back and
go
talk
ahead.
Xbox some more.
Plug everything you want to
Appreciate you.
plug, man. Go ahead and.
Yeah, just remember Sundays, 9 p.m. I'm one of the hosts of the original Next Level Gaming podcast. We talk about all kinds of different consoles. I'm an Xbox guy mostly. I do own a Switch as well, but we have Xbox, Switch, PS4 owners, a little bit of PC here and there, a little less of that. But yeah, we keep it civil, keep it hopping, and every week I do a recommendation of a retro title. So if you're into retro collecting like I am, getting those old cartridges, I can point you at some of the maybe more esoteric choices. I mean, everyone knows, Super Mario Bros. 3 is what you want to get for the NES, but I can show you some ones that you might miss. So remember, that's Sunday, 9 p.m. I'm on Twitter, CrazyJuan77. So feel free to yell at me, tell me about how you can build your Xbox One in your basement with your parts, and I'll have that argument with you all day.
Or
So
I can
you
yell
can,
that,
you
I like
can-
Xbox.
Right.
Xbox Switch. Yeah.
So you can just search on iTunes for Next Level Gaming. Find it.
It's YouTube.
It's only on YouTube. Okay.
That's,
Next
yeah,
level
it's
game.
on-
Oh, okay. I heard
Okay.
about that. I think I checked that out a couple times. That's what's up.
Yeah, guys.
come
So
on
just hang out with Next Level Gaming on Mondays at 9 p.m.
Sundays at 9. We got a pretty
Sundays.
hopping chat room, and so it's a pretty good time. We kind of pride ourselves on interacting with the chat. So, come on in, get your opinion heard. We'll talk back at you, and it's a pretty good time.
Well, thanks, man. I hate goodbyes. So
Yeah, I hear it. I appreciate you having me on. Glad good first visit. Be down anytime you want to talk Xbox. Just let me know, and I'll be around.
no problem, man. Thanks. All right. Well, Steph, just say bye. I'm just gonna play the outro now. We'll see you guys. Oh well, I gotta say, write us write us at letters@xboxuncut.com. Thank you for those that did write us. Do appreciate it. And everyone have a nice week.
Say bye,
Peace out.
Ashton.
See you guys.
Say bye.
Xbox for life.
Peace.
All right. Thanks for coming out and listening to us live, guys. Appreciate all you live listeners. So we're gonna go ahead and end the stream now. You guys have a nice night and have a nice week. And we'll,
Shout out to the chat.
Yep, we'll see you guys
Yeah.
next Friday.
Yep. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Thanks, She-Wolf.
Bye, guys.